Hello, this is Hisham from Team 1, Sub-Team A, and I'll be talking about how Hossam and I worked to implement this task. We were supposed to develop the GPIO driver for the TVC controller to control the RGB LED on the board using a push button. We would be using the push button to generate a certain sequence on the RGB LED, and the sequence would go as follows. At the first press of the button, the red LED would turn on, and then it would stay on until if we press the button again, then the red LED would turn off and the green LED would turn on. And would also stay on until if we press the button a third time, then the green LED would turn off and the blue LED would turn on. As of now, the blue LED is the only LED on. At the fourth press, all of the LEDs would be on, and then if we press the button again at the fifth press, then all the LEDs would be disabled, as in all of them would be off. And then if we press the push button again, then we would be repeating the sequence back from the top. Hossam and I started by dividing the work among the two of us, and then we went on to design, implement, test, and document our respective drivers. I was responsible for the GPIO driver. And it took me a bit longer than expected to finish it because I faced some trouble with the data register and the bit bending part to write to it, but it was finally resolved. And I was also responsible for developing the button driver, which went quite smoothly, and both drivers are functioning as expected in the application. And now Hossam will be going over his work and testing the application. Thank you.
Well, welcome everyone. This is Hossam Elwahsh. As you already know, we are working on the TVC. Our task is to incrementally work with the RGB user LED you're seeing here using this user switch one. For my part, I was working on the system tech driver, as well as the LED driver and the application implementation for the whole system. For the system tech driver, it's really a small one. You just have to choose one of these two clocks, either the system clock or the internal oscillator already existing in the TVC, which by default works on 16 megahertz. The system clock in the TVC is configurable, so you can update this one too. This macro is just if you have changed the microcontroller to some other one than we are using here, and its internal oscillator is different. For the configuration itself, for this module, you only have two things to configure: the clock source, which is either the system clock or the internal oscillator, and whether or not to enable the interrupts. For now, this driver is only having two API functions, the init function and the MS delay. We needed this driver to be used inside the button module for the debouncing. For the upcoming tasks, we might add an extra API for the same delay but asynchronous using interrupts. That's for future improvement. That would be all for this driver. For the next one is the LED driver. It was the same LED driver we used before, but we just updated the configuration that will be using the new GPIO driver instead the regular DIO, which we were using in the AVR tasks. So that was pretty straightforward edit, didn't take much time, and we also added the new ports that are available in the TVC, which is port E and F. That's it. For the application, we only have one return state, tap OK or fail. This is only inside the app init, returned from the app init, which the main.c checks for whether or not to start the application. For the global variables, we have just the user button configuration that we will be using and the current app state, as well as the LED ports and bins related to our microcontroller. And the rest is to do with the rest of the code is well documented, and you can find the flowcharts in the documentation file. Okay, so moving on to the test protocol. This is just a really simple task. So there weren't much to test, so we only had 2 test cases for the application. The first one is just to flash the hex file, press on reset, do nothing, and expect it to have the RGB LED off. And the second test is actually the application flow, in which we do the same, but for the third step, you keep pressing the switch on button multiple times and note down the result per each press. Requirements for the first press, the LED will be red, then green, then blue, then it will turn everything, which will result in a white light. And for the next press, it should turn off everything, so no light. For any subsequent presses, it will repeat these steps. Okay, so we can quickly move into the hardware. Let me zoom in a little. Okay, here you can see the TVC microcontroller. Okay, the program is already flashed, so I'll press on reset just in case. And for every button, this is switch 1, for every button press, we should see the LED changes. So first it will be red, green, blue, and then all the colors, which will result in a white light. And then it will turn off, and it will keep repeating this sequence. That would be it for this task, and thanks for watching.